This is a podcast from the Business Times.
Our Emeritus Senior Minister got short term. He said that Singapore cannot be a complete international financial center unless Islamic finance is offered as well.
The S&P 500 Shariah equivalent has outperformed the S&P 500 conventional indices.
We're talking about an industry poised to reach almost $5 trillion by 2025. That is not chump change. But how can we get in on the action? And what is Islamic finance all about? With a massive Muslim population, Southeast Asia is home to 25% of it and a quarter of the value of the global Islam financial industry. And Singapore has aims to become a global hub of offshore Islamic wealth within the next 5 years. This is Money Hacks, a podcast series by the Business Times, where we explore useful financial tips to help you on your money managing and wealth growing journey. I'm Howie Lim. Muhammad Ridhwaan Radzi, Managing Director of IFSG and RizqX, became familiar with Islamic finance during his education at a madrasa. He then decided to make it his career to educate the community.
There's a lot of efforts being made, not just from my organization, but from the previous predecessors that we ourselves learn from. We ourselves are inspired to continue the efforts. Financial literacy is definitely a long-term game. It's not going to be so soon that we see the impact, but the effort has to be continuing as long as we want to champion this space. We can only see the effects, not just maybe in 1 year, but maybe in the next 5 years, maybe in the next 10 years. And we also have to think about the sustainability aspect of continuing this effort for our next generation. Yes, we are still in the works on that front.
But how different is Islamic finance and investing from conventional investing? Here's Syed Muhammad Alsagoff, Associate Director, Shariah Services, CGS International Securities, Singapore.
Islamic investment focus on ethical investment practices. So the selection of investments is not just purely on the financial side, but we are looking on the business activities itself and also the focus on real assets and productive economic activities. Islamic indices usually outperform the conventional one when it comes to the bull market.
That sounds promising. We like the sound of outperforming, and with the growing emphasis on sustainability and social consciousness, Islamic investing seems to tick all the boxes, according to Ridhwaan.
The financial filter, there's 4 of it: debt filter or debt component, the accounts receivable threshold, there's the cash threshold, and lastly the tainted income, because some of these businesses have subsidiaries which are not compliant with Sharia or not universal in terms of their values. Then it's a purification of the income, because these businesses are not born to be Sharia compliant, whether it's in a sense concession by the Sharia scholars to provide an avenue for Muslims to invest in. Of course, in terms of our performance, we have mentioned earlier, but there's also the direction towards positive screening, where we instill and we use ESG filters or combine both ESG and Sharia filters.
So from what I understand while speaking to Ridhwaan and Syed, Sharia guides how people who follow Islam live their lives, including how they manage their money, like investing. Sharia investing involves putting money into assets that comply with Islamic principles. These principles prohibit investments in activities like gambling or selling alcohol.
When it comes to the bear market, Sharia-compliant investment also have this protection against market downturns. For instance, during COVID-19 pandemic, the regular S&P Global 1200 dropped by 32%, while the S&P Global 1200 Sharia fell by only 28%. Plus, according to a study, Sharia-compliant companies often have higher ESG scores, which means they are more socially responsible and sustainable. Combining ESG with Sharia principles can lead to good long-term returns.
But is Islamic investing suitable for people not of the faith?
The returns are very competitive. That's where it gets a bit attractive, not just from the fund houses, but also from the banks. They also provide more alternatives and opportunities for Muslims and non-Muslims to invest in investments that do not just underperform, but actually outperform the market.
And with all investing, don't go in blind. And there's always risk involved.
When it comes to Sharia investing or Islamic investing, investors should consider firstly their objective and risk tolerance when approaching Islamic investing. Geographically, there are opportunities across the Southeast Asia, Middle East, and even Western markets with Sharia-compliant offerings. Whether you want to apply growth or you are looking at a value investing, this is all applicable to Sharia investing, meaning you can use any of the strategies overlay on the Sharia-compliant investment.
Still to come.
From my perspective, the outlook for Islamic investing is positive, bright, gaining traction with increasing global interest and market expansion.
You can start as low as even $1 you can start. Actually, 1 cent you can start also.
Back in a moment.
The Business Times podcasts. Relevant, incisive, compelling content by some of the newsroom's most respected correspondents in markets, wealth management, and current affairs. Available on all your favorite audio content apps and at www.businesstimes.com.sg/podcasts.
And now, back to Money Hacks from the Business Times.
Not all products are created equal, and it's much the same in Islamic investing. What wears the crown is most popular and why? Here's Syed.
And we can see that the price of bond usually stable, and most of the investors out there are risk averse. They are looking to something that is more stable and giving them a consistent kind of return. Most of the time, Sukuk, the favorites among the investors because of the stability of the price and of course the consistency of the return or the coupon paid to the investor.
Ridhwaan is a champion of community education and also a son of Singapore.
More than 50% of our Muslim community are new investors as well as they haven't invested before. So there's a lot of effort to be made in educating about the available investment products, whether you want to become a dividend investor or maybe a growth investor and whatnot. But at the end of the day, all of these products are available for you. If I want to invest in Indonesia and I want to repatriate my funds back, I will incur currency loss. And same goes for Thailand. Actually, Thailand has a lot more Islamic banks, Islamic financial products as compared to Singapore. And they are not even a financial hub. Even for Malaysia itself, if I want to invest there, I will incur for a FX currency loss.
Syed has high hopes for Singapore as well.
Singapore has great potential to be a hub for Islamic finance because of three main reasons. We have a strong regulation, a robust and advanced financial infrastructure, and we are in a very strategic location. We are in the Malay Archipelago. We are neighboring to one of the largest Muslim population country in the world, Indonesia, with a population of 250 million. Our Emeritus Senior Minister, God Shorten, he said that Singapore cannot be a complete international financial center unless Islamic finance is offered as well. The government supports and the city's diverse population make it an ideal place for Islamic finance. As more people seek Sharia-compliant financial products, Singapore is well positioned to meet both regional and global needs, creating a comprehensive and inclusive financial market.
For Singapore as well, in terms of the estate laws in the both conventional and the Islamic space is strong. From the Muslim space, if an investor from Dubai or Saudi or Indonesia and whatnot has their funds in Singapore, right, it's very favorable for them to repatriate their funds based on the estate that they want to distribute to, as compared to Indonesia, Malaysia, which is very sticky in terms of its estate laws and trust laws. So that's why I think Singapore has that as a competitive advantage that is not really talked about and not mentioned about much.
At the end of the day, it doesn't seem as though Islamic finance and investing are very different from conventional investing. We're all looking for stable, consistent returns, and geography or investment strategy is a matter of personal taste and risk appetite.
And also, depending on the investor's goals, they can focus on growth through equity funds, value through real estate, or income through Sukuk. The financial certificates, which akin to bond, we can say an Islamic bonds, structured in a compliant manner. Instead of earning interest for bonds, which they receive coupon, Sukuk holders receive a share of the income generated by the underlying asset or project.
The trends in Islamic investing look promising as well.
You now have a plethora of options on your fingertips when it comes to investing. It's not like before where you have to use conventional funds and then filter them to get your Sharia stocks in a sense. Now you have more than 1,000 halal investments. If you want to also include Indonesia and Malaysia, ETF, stocks, mutual funds, private investments, REITs, private equity, even the crypto space, DeFi space, there's a lot of investments that you can tap on.
Investors should watch for trends such as the rise of fintech in Islamic finance, increasing issuance of green sukuks, and the expansion of Sharia-compliant investment funds. In Malaysia and Indonesia especially, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of Sharia-compliant funds. Another key trend is the integration of ESG criteria with Islamic investment principles. With this, it offers a double layer of ethical consideration.
Next time, with travel demand on the rise, are there ways you can still save money and go on that deserved vacation? Thanks to Syed Muhammad Alsagoff, Associate Director, Shariah Services at CGS International Securities Singapore, and Muhammad Ridhwaan Radzi, Managing Director of IFSG and RizqX, for their insights in this episode. This has been Money Hacks by the Business Times. I'm Howie Lim. Till next time.
This is a podcast by the Business Times. Find more BT podcasts at businesstimes.com.sg/podcasts. Or wherever you get your podcasts. This podcast is meant to provide general information only. SPH Media accepts no liability for loss arising from any reliance on the podcast or use of third parties' products and services. Please consult professional advisors for independent advice.